Yo, what's up guys? JDOG here, bringing you guys another video, and in today's video what we're going to be talking about is the CDL 2021 start announcement. Now it has been quite a long off season, but the CDL has finally come out and officially confirmed some of the rumors that have been circulating regarding the start of this new season. Now some of the first things that we heard were Media Day being a thing this year. We heard Optic Chicago as well as some other teams going to a studio to get their pictures and videos taken. We saw Atlanta Faze post a video of the entire team posing, throwing money in the air, so that made us think, okay, the season's coming around soon. And then this first thing hit Twitter here from the official Call of Duty League Twitter @ these are the 2021 season hashtags that if you use any of these hashtags, you're going to get the team's logo alongside it. Now I think it's kind of interesting to look at these. Some of them are better than others. A thing to point out is that Optic Chicago is actually the OC logo for their COD team, and there are other hashtags. I think if you just do hashtag Optic or if you do hashtag Green Wall, you get the OG logo. I think it's kind of interesting that LA Thieves and Paris Legion as well as New York Subliners seem to only have one, whereas the other teams have two each. But this is kind of just a fun thing to use throughout the season. I think it's good that they added these, and it should be a lot of fun seeing these all over Twitter when we have grand finals matchups and some crazy comebacks and big moments throughout the season. Moving on to the next announcement, they actually announced it, guys, the Kickoff Classic. So this is the first league sanctioned event of the 2021 season. Even though the matches here are just show matches, they actually have no ramifications as far as like league points or anything that affects where you're seated in any tournament or home series. Now, it's called the Kickoff Classic, and it's going to start at 3 p.m. Eastern on January 23rd, and it'll be a 2-day event featuring every team. Now, the next thing they announced was the actual official opening weekend. So, Atlanta Faze is going to host the first home series of the 2021 season. It's going to start on February 11th and go through the 14th, which is actually a Thursday through Sunday, which is kind of new for this season. So maybe that makes more sense when they release the official format of it. But February 11th is kind of a long way away. Now, while it's good to have this opening weekend announced, I think it's kind of weird that it's a month after me making this video. Nonetheless, though, they did announce it, and it's cool that Atlanta Faze is going to be the first home series. I think it's good to have one of the big brands hosting the first event this year. Now I want to break down these announcements in a little bit more detail. So I'm going to a CharlieIntel article. It's written by Matt Porter, and it's basically talking about these announcements, and it just goes into a little bit more of how they're going to work. So the Call of Duty League has officially confirmed the start date for the competition's second season, announcing the Kickoff Classic in late January and the opening weekend home series in February. A new year means a new competitive season in Call of Duty, and after weeks of speculation, Activision has finally confirmed details for the Cold War competitive events. Coming off the back of a successful first season for the franchise competition, the Call of Duty League will host a celebratory pre-season event to mark the 1-year anniversary of 2020's Minnesota event before heading into proper league action about 2 weeks later. Now, if you do remember back in 2020, the season did kick off in this Minnesota event, but it was unlike any home series that we saw throughout the year, even before all the matches went online. Each team played 2 matches, and if you won, you got 10 points. If you lost, you didn't get any, and that kind of helped to seed the rest of the home series going forward. And the article goes on talking about the Kickoff Classic. As I said before, it takes place January 23rd through the 24th, and it talks about how the fans are actually going to choose the matchups. Now, the way they did this was actually through Twitter polls. Now, I don't know if they looked at who placed top 3 in the 2020 champs, or if they just said, hey, screw it, let's do the top 3 most popular teams. But regardless, it ended up working out this way. So what they did was they took the 12 CDL teams and they put them into 3 groups with 4 teams each. They did group 1 with the Dallas Empire, group 2 was Atlanta Faze, and group 3 was Optic Chicago. And then how they decided the matchups was they took the 3 group leaders and they had them put a Twitter poll out, and basically fans voted which of the other 3 teams in their group they wanted them to face. And the winner of that would face the group leader, and then the 2 teams that lost would play each other in the Kickoff Classic. These are the results of the Twitter polls. Empires was pretty much a blowout. Everybody wants to see Clayster take on the Empire. He obviously won the 2020 World Championship with the Empire and then was dropped due to the switch from 5v5 to 4v4. They had to make a change. They decided to cut Clayster, and now he is on the New York Subliners. Atlanta Faze's poll was the closest out of each of these by far. The Florida Mutineers won it barely, just beating the Seattle Surge, and Optic Chicago was another blowout. Almost 90% of the votes went towards LA Thieves. I think everybody just wants to see that Hex versus Nadeshot, Optic versus 100 Thieves rivalry reborn in this season. So here are your matchups. Like I said, the winner of those polls played the group leader, and then the 2 that lost are playing each other. So the way they're going to do this is on Saturday, they're going to start it with Dallas and New York, a big matchup, and then they're going to end Saturday with Atlanta Faze's match, as well as they're ending Sunday. The last match of this Kickoff Classic is going to be Optic versus the LA Thieves. There are some cool matchups here. I'm just really excited to get this season off and going here, even if these don't account for any kind of a league score or a seed in a tournament. I just want to see these guys play. Now, the article also goes on talking about the Atlanta Faze home series. Just 3 weeks later, the 2021 Call of Duty League will officially kick off with Atlanta Faze set to host the opening weekend home series from February 11th to the 14th. Remember, that's a Thursday through Sunday. And although this isn't a surprise, it is big that this is in the article. It says, like most home series in 2020, the first event of 2021 will take place online. And then the article kind of goes on talking about how they're going to seed the home series. I'll go into that a little bit later, but I'll just continue with the article for now. During the Kickoff Classic, the CDL will feature a unique group selection draw show, which will see a special snake draft format that will allow teams to select the team that will be placed in the next ranked opponent's group. This means Dallas Empire will be able to select Atlanta Faze's first Group B opponent and will continue down the order of teams based on their 2020 CDL positions. More details about the draw format and the Atlanta Faze home series will be made available in the near future, along with additional season format details, the full 2021 schedule, and information about prizing. Now, I'm sure a lot of our questions regarding the format and the schedule for this season are going to be answered during that Kickoff Classic, but just for speculation, let's go ahead and talk about what the groups could look like for this first home series. Now, this screenshot is actually taken from the Call of Duty League 2021 Season Explainer. It's a YouTube video that's been out for a little bit now, and it talks about the home series format being 2 groups of 6. So what I did was I went ahead and threw Dallas in Group A and Faze in Group B. Now, if it's a snake-style draft, you can either have it one of 2 ways. You can have Dallas pick the first team, Faze pick the next 2 teams, Dallas pick the next 2 teams, and so on and so forth until all the groups are filled out. Another way you could do it is have Dallas pick the first team, Faze pick the second 2 teams, and then the next highest team in Dallas's group picks for Faze's group. It gets very confusing. The only real way to do that is to rank teams based on their 2020 season standings, but it would be really weird to do it that way since a lot of teams had to make roster cuts from the 5v5 switch to 4v4, and we're playing an entirely different game now. And I think just the simple switch of a game can make some teams and players perform better. So for the sake of the video, we're going to chalk that second idea and we're going to go with the first one. Just a simple snake style draft where Dallas picks first and Atlanta picks second. You rotate back and forth until both Group A and B are full. The way that would work, let's just say Dallas throws Optic Chicago in Atlanta Faze's pool. They have all of the other 10 teams to choose from, but they say we're going to throw Optic in Faze's pool. Then Faze picks the next 2 teams to go in Dallas's group. Let's say they throw the LA Thieves and the New York Subliners in Group A. It goes then back to Dallas, who picks the next 2. Let's say they throw the Royal Ravens and the Mutineers in Group B. And you kind of see how this goes. Faze would pick the next 2, Dallas would pick the next 2, and then Faze would pick the final team, but by default there's only one to choose, and you end up with 2 groups of 6. Now most of these picks are arbitrary, and I'm not really trying to make any kind of a prediction for how these groups will form, but it does give you an idea of what the groups could look like. Now again, I do think we're going to get a lot of answers on the 23rd of January during those show matches, but I just kind of wanted to go into it myself and see what it would look like if indeed they use a snake style draft to form these groups. And that's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm really excited. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more announcements coming forward from the CDL as we get closer to the kickoff and the actual opening weekend. Please do leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed. I'm going to be posting a lot more when we get closer to these events. I'm going to be covering announcements and predictions and results from each of the tournaments. Make sure to check me out on social media. My Twitter and Twitch are on the screen. And if you want to, go ahead and join my Discord. The link is in the description. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one.